Back in the 80s, all of the movies were wild. Some were wild in a good way to make them instant hits. Others, well, yeah. The point is, the 80s was a great time for movies, which is why we have so many good movies today. But some people would argue that today was a better time for movies than the 80s, and vice versa. There's a point that we now have better technology for movies, but that doesn't mean now is better than the 80s for movies. In order to see which time frame is better, maybe it's best to compare some of the 80s movies to their modern counterparts, or at least the most similar movies. First, it's best we start off with a couple of good movies. Goonies, which was made in 1985, and Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, which was made in 2017. Goonies is a movie about a group of kids who are about to lose their homes and not having enough money to save it. So they find this map in their attic, and they have to go out on an adventure to try to find some treasure. Positives for this movie are the plot, character development, humor, scenery, and the truffle shuffle, of course. Now for the downsides. The quality isn't the best, certain characters barely even appear at all, and there's a repetitive soundtrack, and you already know what song I'm talking about. Jumanji is about 4 high schoolers finding an old video game that they get sucked into and have to survive a jungle landscape. Positives are quality, humor, and The Rock. Negatives, very little character development, no shuffle. Come on, man, get it. Why can't you just have shuffle? Some parts feel rushed, repetitive jokes, just like me, yeah. Generic ending. The reason I compared these two movies together because both of these are about going on an adventure into the unknown to achieve a specific goal. The Goonies want to get enough money to save their house, and Jumanji, they want to escape the game. In comparing the two, I would say the Goonies is better because it was more of a hit than Welcome to the Jungle, because its plot was less rushed and its humor is much superior in my opinion. They also did a good job showing everyone's perspectives, and the true panic that the kids felt in that situation, and was an overall just good movie. Jumanji was great too, but after a while, certain jokes got stale, such as the girl being Jack Black, and it was pretty funny, but it's kind of shoved in our faces at certain parts, and the movie didn't have as much of a rewarding ending as the Goonies did. Therefore, that's one point to the 80s. The next two movies I'm comparing are a bit different than the last. The Lost Boys, which was made in 1987, and then Twilight, which was made in 2008. Lost Boys is about 2 brothers moving to a new town which has vampires. They didn't know about the vampires, of course. Well, quite at the moment. But the younger brother meets these 2 kids who are professional vampire hunters. While the other brother, the older one, finds some attractive woman but doesn't know her secret. So he follows this group of kids which he is with, who mess with him and peer pressure him into drinking this juice that turns him into a vampire like they are. Positives, character development, satisfying ending, good plot twist, shows everyone's perspective. Negatives, sometimes cheesy, depressed child orchestra, confusing story at some parts. Twilight is about this woman named Bella who moves to Arizona to fall in love with some man named Edward. No, not Scissorhands, and he is actually a vampire, but he don't drink blood, because blood. Positives, funny vampire man. Yeah, he's funny. Negatives, I haven't actually watched Twilight, so that kind of ruins a lot. Vampires, cheesy. What's super obvious now, in my opinion, is very biased here, but these movies are both about vampires and love. Except one of them is actually funny. Sorry, Twilight, but after melting my eyeballs, I think I'd much rather choose The Lost Boys.
Ha ha ha, it is me, Vampire Man from Twilight. The Twilight movie. Ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha. I'm gonna bite you and suck your blood because it's a generic vampire movie. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. I'm a funny guy. Ha ha, ha ha. No, no, don't do it. Too bad. Ha ha ha. My evil plan to bite you, and because yeah. Scary. Oh no, my jaw fell off.
So please, people who love this movie, don't kill me, but one point to The Lost Boys. Now, The final two movies are Pixels, which was made in 2015, and War Games, which was made in 1987. Hey, another 1987 movie. What do you know? Plot of Pixels thought these aliens find footage of classic arcade games and see it as a war declaration, so they launch all of these classic video game creatures onto Earth to fight. And the main character, which was a video game champion when he was a kid, got recruited to fight against these video games. Positives: good CGI, great concepts on defeating games, good characters in my opinion, and Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler's great. Negatives: lots of parts feel rushed, cheesy ending, very confusing beginning. I mean, there's the video game champion part, yeah, but then there's him stalking this woman because he loved her, because generic Adam Sandler loving a woman plot. Story of War Games is basically high school kid who's good with computers accidentally hacks into the military's computers and starts a simulation of a thermonuclear war. So he has to try to stop the process from being completed whilst being hunted by the government. Now, by the sounds of the plot compared to Pixels, they aren't really related now, are they? Well, actually, they are. Basic plot of, oh no, technology goes evil with a main character. Well, I mean, every movie is a main character. I think, at least. I don't think it's possible to have a movie without a main character. And then, of course, the main character has a skill to stop everything from happening, but of course need to get aid from the government. Now, honest opinion here between the two movies, but I absolutely did enjoy War Games, with the main character trying to save his country while being hunted down by his own country, and using his hacking skills. Honestly, it's pretty amazing to watch his hacking skills go on. But Pixels, on the other hand, gets my point for this one, mainly because it was more humor and cool effects put into it. It was just more of a fun movie to watch than War Games, so yeah. Anyways, the score for the 1980s versus the modern era is 2-1. So you can see, I obviously found the 1980s movies more entertaining to watch. Then more of a spark in everything, despite being limited to their ability with not having as much technology as they do now, but that caused them to still get more creative with how they did things, which is what truly made those movies more clean and smooth to watch. Because I prefer more 1980s movies, doesn't mean I hate modern movies. There are so many good ones out there that I absolutely did enjoy. Anyways, I don't need no 4K HD 10 FPS to enjoy a movie. I just need to get a plot. Well, thanks, and goodbye.